This week on Intrigued Full Effect.
I'm just really counting my blessings, thanking God for the people who were in positions of power to bring about justice, including the jurors.
I'm Chandrea Thomas, and welcome to episode 47. In this podcast, I talk about curious cases, disappearances, and other stuff. And today I'm talking to Theda Person, the mother of missing Christian Ferguson. Christian's case was my very first podcast episode back in 2019, and I've been following the story for years. And I have to say that this case has layers of tragedy, evil, faith, and resilience. Theda has been fighting for nearly 2 decades to get justice for her son, who she always said was killed by his father, Dawan Ferguson, who was finally charged in the case in 2019, 16 years after Christian disappeared. And he was convicted by a St. Louis County court on July 1st of this year for first-degree murder in the death of his then 9-year-old disabled son, and that carries a mandatory life sentence. The trial lasted 5 days, and jurors came back with a guilty verdict less than 3 hours after closing arguments in the case. And here's the thing, Christian is still missing to this day. I spoke to Theda about her feelings after hearing the verdict and what her plans are for the future. This is what happened. So Theda, we've been talking about your case for years. We've known each other for a long time. And today it seems to me like it was a long time coming with what happened with Dawan and the court case. I've been watching this all week. I'll go in, I'll watch the streams, and I'm just like, this is just so wild. But you know what? I'll say this. After watching all of the testimony, and the prosecutor was really good, by the way. The prosecutor was good. Yes. He was good. For them to come back so quickly with no body, without Christian's body, that speaks volumes. So I just want to get into that. And how are you feeling about all this right now? Because you've been dealing with this for years, decades.
Exactly. I'm just excited that we have a great prosecuting team, a prosecutorial. I don't know if I should say it like that. The team is awesome. And it seems like God put just the right people in the right positions at the right time. So I'm really excited about that. I'm excited that people that could have passed away. I've watched the news, like at one point in time, I saw something about a person in a black SUV. I drive a black SUV, and a woman was killed in that black SUV going the same route that I take to go to work every morning. So when I think about things that could have happened, between the time of June 11, 2003 and now, losing my father, he didn't get a chance to see this day. So I'm just really counting my blessings, thanking God for the people who were in positions of power to bring about justice. And I just think about the great team of jurors that were selected for such a time as this to bring about justice. And if we didn't have people who had a heart, people who were interested in doing what's in the best interest of not just my family, but our community, we would not have gotten here today.
You've put so much effort and so much into, trying to get justice for your son and looking to get justice for your son. There's been so much that you've done over the years, all these interviews and outreach and vigils and all these things that have happened. Where are you now? Where does your mind go now? Because you've been so focused on this one thing that you've got, that you got today. And you got the top, the hardest sentence that you could get for that, right? So where do you go next with everything?
Well, I know where I plan on doing a lot of things. Actually, I've been working on books for years, and it's like so many things have happened. It made me think about different titles, what I wanted to add to it, things that I didn't get a chance to complete from years ago when I remember doing an interview in 2006, I believe. And I never got a chance to finish it. So I feel like now that I'm a better manager of my time, and now that we've gotten to this point, I could kind of relax, get to know my family better, get to know family members that I've not met yet, build a better relationship with my child who didn't really understand the fight. They're learning about the fight in adulthood, So, it was really hard trying to explain to them why I couldn't see them, because of the corrupt system. I'm just being real. It's a wonderful system, but at the same time, people make up the system. And when you have people that are in positions that are not doing what's in the best interest of people, the people suffer and we perish, and so There's just so many things. I have nieces and nephews that are grown now. I missed out on all that time because I was so focused on trying to fight this battle. I never saw my kids' teeth fall out. I was only getting 3 hours and 45 minutes of visitation, and that was supposed to be reasonable according to Judge Thomas J. Frawley. So that I'm just reflecting on a lot of things, thinking about different things that need to be changed, thinking about what I can do in my work capacity, things that I can do in my personal capacity to bring about change so that other people won't have to go through what I've been through.
Watching the trial, I was wondering, would that moment come where we would hear, this is where Christian is. This is where I put him. Now people can go get him, and so that one unanswered question that you have, I mean, are you guys going to pursue, I don't even know if you can even say that, searches in certain areas for him now? Do you think they're more inclined to go really start digging into these places where it's rumored for him to be?
There's so many places. I mean, I don't know if people would be willing to leave their homes and allow me to dig in their basements. I'm just saying, and I guess that's one of the things that his attorney was trying to bring up, but my thing is, I know what is necessary to sustain the life of my child. Where do you not look? There's so many places for anybody to be, even if you think about a mall, just imagine one kid that was loose from their family in a mall. I mean, all the stores in a mall, all the restrooms in a mall. It's just so many places that a person can be just in a mall. So when you think about the society in which you live, the neighborhood and everything, there's just, all I can say is we will persist. We will, if tips continue to come through, we'll, do what is necessary to follow those leads. And hopefully we will get the answer that we seek, so.
Do you think he'll ever say?
I don't think he'll ever say, because he likes power. I feel like he's very narcissistic. Back when I met him, of course, I didn't know.
I'm very curious. Were you surprised when you saw the witnesses and you were watching all the testimony? Did anything surprise you?
No.
Nothing surprised you?
No. I mean, I guess it's because I learned to hold things loosely over the years, because I've had so many roller coasters, so many letdowns, so many bad attorneys. I just learned to just let go, let God, and move accordingly.
Let me ask you about Lynn. I know, definitely her testimony was really something to watch. And she was like, hey, this is what it is, making corrections and checking folks on things. I was like, okay.
Oh, that's my baby.
I'm like, okay.
I'm like, and she talking about, I'm telling my baby what to do. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. But I'm not surprised. I feel like my daughter is like another me. I allowed her to be who she is. And that's why she was free. When she was with me, she was able to tell me whatever. Even the students that I've taught over the years, they've always felt comfortable, letting me know things that were hard to hear. And it was because I was intentional and I care about the best interest of people, period. So it was really hard to hear my child's voice at a young age and then think like, okay, something did surprise me. I just thought about it. I did not know that my child was eating their own diapers. I knew it was bad. But that right there, that was hard to take. It was hard to take. And then just knowing how long I've been saying the same old thing, just repetitiously. And they just pretty much tied my hands behind my back and made me watch. So I just feel like, just like John said, the attorney for the state, Christian's attorney, so many people dropped the ball. And so many people intentionally neglected to listen. That's hard.
It's amazing to me how you're able to hold yourself together. And I don't know how you do that. I mean, I know, I imagine some days it gets extremely difficult. I mean, I can only imagine that. But how are you in your state of mind now? Do you feel a little bit, I imagine there's some degree of relief.
There's some relief, but I think I have to learn how to be normal. because it was like, I mean, I grew up an athlete, and I know that it's not over until it's over. You know, you can come back. I mean, 2 points left is still possible. You know, I don't like to give up. And my father pushed me. I swam on a swimming team, one of the only Black swimming clubs in St. Louis. So, you know, I'm used to being that one that will persist when everybody gives up. And if I believe in something, I'm not going to turn around. I may slow down, but I just can't give up. And that's the hard part for me. And I guess because I've seen people give up. You know, a lot of people turn to drugs when their children were wrongfully removed from their care. I'm friends with some people even to this day, and I understand why they made the decisions that they made, because everybody's not equipped with the same amount of endurance. You know, a lot of people don't know how to use they don't know how to find within them what it takes to keep going. Some people kill themselves. And I feel like even when I wanted to do that, if I did that, who would tell my story? You know, what if my child wouldn't think they could make it, my surviving child, if I did that? How would that reflect on them? And how would they do that? I mean, I just try to think about everything down the road. And it was hard. And those are some of the things that I plan to finish writing about, because I started writing, but I never finished because it's always something. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of things that I've been blessed to do, blessed with beautiful jobs, wonderful opportunities. Some of them are positive distractions, you know, but I wouldn't let anything get in the way of my fight for justice. It was something I just had to do.
I see various pins and things going on in your outfit. So let me just see what you have going on here. And can you explain to me what all these things symbolize and why are you wearing them? I believe that's a Christian picture on your neck. So I see that.
Yes. It says a loving mother. My niece, Sierra, she made this for me. And this is a picture of me holding Christian. It was like in 1998, I believe I took this at Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. And I had my little afro going. I was holding Christian, and he's so vibrant on this picture because, like, back then when he wasn't hospitalized, I don't think he ever really had issues until he was like after 3 years old, maybe. It's just so many things I want to do, and now I just have to do it. So that's what I plan on doing, learning how to live in spite of my circumstances, enjoying myself, and get back to what you asked me about these little things here. So this button here, it says justice isn't served until crime victims are. And I believe I think I got this either through Looking for an Angel when I first started the organization. It was earlier in my fight for justice. This is something that my sister Sharon, this ribbon, she made this because I told her we're wearing green, yellow, and purple. Green for life, yellow for missing, purple for justice. And this pin at the top, it's a pin that I made after Christian went missing. And it's really, actually, I think I started making these. They used to have like a white pearl at first. And then when I started, I think after his disappearance, that's when I kind of put green for life. I make jewelry, so that's been very therapeutic. Actually, I didn't start making jewelry until I was pregnant with Christian. Everything's been so serious, so hopefully things will kind of settle down and I'll be able to love and learn more about my family, learn what I've missed, introduce myself to members of my family that I haven't met because I've been so focused on fighting this battle.
Well, I know there's one thing I'm guessing me and a lot of people want you to do, and that would be take a vacation.
Life is not pausing. The bills are still coming while you're fighting. And so I was juggling so many things. I remember when, you know, it was so hard to do that. But I thank God that I have a great job. I thank God for my supportive coworkers that are there, that have been there. And, you know, and even members in the community. It was nice to see some people, some reporters even, you know, just all these messages. My phone is like jumping like crazy. People from like grade school, I mean, just throughout my life, they're like, wow, you really did it. You know, you really stayed the course. Even some people who really didn't believe that I would make it, you know, or even get to this point, they're like saying, "Oh, you're my shero." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm your shero now," but that's okay. That's okay. Some people come along later, so that I'm just enjoying the favor of the people and just counting my blessings, thanking God that I made it because I didn't have to.
So let's just switch things up a little bit and get to the aspect of what you feel needs to be changed. What mistakes that you believe were made in Christian's investigation? What would you like to see happen, especially when you have other families who may be in a similar situation that you were in?
Yes, I think that as an educator, since that was my major, I believe that we should always reflect on whatever we've done. Like when you teach a lesson, go back and say, okay, could I have taught this in a different way? Did I lose anybody? Did everybody grasp it? So yeah, I believe everybody needs to reflect in whatever capacity they find themselves. They need to reflect to make sure that things were done properly and tweak the things and change those things that need to be changed or tweaked. The climate and culture has definitely changed from when I first started. I've even changed from when I first started. I'm not fearful. I remember when I was afraid to speak to the judge or, stand up for myself. And then it was like, hey, you bleed like me, you breathe like me, you're just a human. So to really understand, I guess I should say I battle with anxiety. So you can imagine how nervous I probably was in the beginning of this battle, because I am not the person that I was. I don't look the same. I don't act the same, but my heart is still the same. My drive is still the same. But in reflection, I say that people need to take things more seriously. I feel like a lot of times people think that if information isn't given in a certain package, that it's not important, or if you don't know how to put it in that package to get the attention. And I guess that gets back to what I do through Looking for an Angel, because I help increase awareness of missing persons, but I also help families navigate the missing person process. And I do that because everybody doesn't understand how to answer the questions that the police may ask them. In my capacity, I find myself helping law enforcement understand how they're coming off to families, and vice versa, helping the families to understand what they need to do to, make their case important to law enforcement, which every case should be important. It's like a lot of diversity, equity, and inclusion things that need to take place, period, throughout the whole system, in the courts, in the police department, in society in general, because people have their biases and sometimes you don't get the assistance that you deserve because people think you're not believable, or how would you know that, or that's I heard what you're saying, but that just seems impossible. And even in solving cases, because without a body, they still did it. This is how many other people are missing or murdered and people are saying, oh, we need a body. Why is that? Do you have enough evidence to prove without a body? Why do we need a body? Allow them to be heard. So we just need to work on so many things, and we can't expect people to understand every word that we say. Maybe we're using terminology or words that people can't comprehend. How can they give you the proper results if they don't understand what they're supposed to do? I just think that even people who are in political positions, they need to think about those people that they're serving and be intentional about serving those individuals. You can't say that you want to represent somebody and you don't even call them until it's time to get a vote. What's up with that? There's just so much work to be done. And it's a beautiful work because you build relationships when you're trying to do this work. Like a lot of parents with missing children, we could have better relationships with law enforcement if they allow some things to happen. Maybe we have the answers, but they're the ones that can execute, because we're the ones that's really solving these cases for real. The people tell the police, and then the police do whatever is necessary.
I will say this, definitely through the process of having this podcast, I have experienced a lot of families going through the process, doing their own thing, and some of them rescuing their own kids. That's just exactly facts of what it is.
But law enforcement is getting paid for us doing the work.
And actually, let's get back to this. I'm looking for an angel. So yes. How is that going? And are you going to do anything different now? Are you still Do you still have the support that you've had? Has that grown for you? And what does the future of looking for an angel look like right now?
That's a great question, because when I finished obtaining my educational studies degree, I thought that would be what I focused on, but then I started working for the government, and that's a beautiful work, and I love what I do. But I love looking for an angel. I love making people smile. I love making the flyers. I love just doing what's necessary to get those families the attention that they deserve. But it's hard to do when you don't have donations. So basically, I've been funding this for the most part out of my own pockets. And my life is changing. I'm going through a divorce. So it's like I was fighting two battles at one time. Okay, one down. I guess the people will help me to understand how I'll go forward with looking for an angel, because I really can't afford to do it the way that I want to at this time, but I know it has to be done. So I'll have to go back and figure out what I can do. And with the support of others, like if that does come through, maybe getting justice will give me more attention so that people can understand what I've been trying to do and help elevate me. I'm just waiting to see what God will do with that. But it's a work that needs to be done, and I don't see anybody else doing it the way I'm doing it here. It takes a lot to hold this together, and people love what I do, but it's hard to do it with no funds. That's just the reality of it. So I'm trying to meet with different people to see if I can garner the support that's necessary so that I can do it while I work, or maybe it could be my life's work.
Is there any misconception that you need to get cleared up? Or do you feel like this trial has pretty much answered all those questions for people, publicly?
I don't think that it has answered a lot of questions, because from what I understand, a lot of people are trying to understand why I found myself in this situation in the first place. So to me, if you start wrong, you'll finish wrong. So, and the reason why I say that is because there's some things that happened wrong in the very beginning. And if you don't understand that, you won't understand why I'm really here. Some people have said that I was on drugs and that's why I lost my children. Wrong answer. I don't do drugs. I don't even drink. I'm not saying I've never tasted anything before. I don't smoke. But it's a lot of people are losing custody of their children for nothing. I was never proven unsuitable, unfit, or unable, because I'm fit, I'm suitable, and I'm able. So why were my children taken in the first place? Why are they saying that my cause number 9832919 is like they were trying to say it was a paternity case? Well, actually, it was a dissolution of marriage case, and I proved I was never married. So people, I need to clear that up, because they keep saying my ex-husband. We were never married. So a lot of people, maybe they want to know, well, why are you saying that you were never married and everybody's saying that you were married? So I proved on November 3rd, 1998, that no valid marriage existed with Dawan Ferguson.
That is a perception. Yes. I don't know if that was ever really reported that way exactly, but that is a perception that I'll even admit I had in the beginning.
Yeah. And people thought I was on drugs. I mean, I remember dating a guy and he was like, oh, is it true? And I'm like, no, it's not true. I don't do drugs. And they're like, well, some other people, they'll say, well, they don't take the children from the mother for just nothing. So what did you do? Well, I'm saying nothing. So they think I'm holding back. No, I could prove to you why they took my kids from me. But the thing is, they don't want me to, and they thought I never would. So I'll write about it and tell them. That's one thing I'd like to get clear. I was never married to Dawan Ferguson. I tried to, found out no valid marriage existed. When I was watching a video of my child tell the story about what my children endured in that household, I was thinking about how many counselors failed my children. I tried to get counseling for my child, even when I obtained custody and couldn't get Christian because we didn't know where he was. We still don't know. But no one wanted to counsel my child, because I know I'm not the only one. I'm the only one that got justice maybe today. I'm not the only one that's been impacted by the missing persons epidemic or injustice, period.
What would you say to Wesley Bell? Because he came into part of this, and all the other people who have helped you, who have stayed with you throughout the years, who have supported you throughout this process. What are your thoughts for those folks?
I love everybody. I'm just saying, I would not be here everybody had a role to play. You know, whether I was running late for work and you had to sit in that seat till I got there, or whether it was, it's so many things. And some people may say, oh, that's not related, but it's all related because they helped me get here. You know, people stood in the gap in so many ways, you know, people who prayed for me, people who searched. I'm still meeting people that searched and I didn't even know they searched because I was like a deer in headlights, you know, so those people were there for me when I couldn't be there for myself. Wesley Bell, I mean, goodness. I'm just saying he is amazing. His whole team is amazing. The way that they supported my family and helped us navigate through a situation that I've never experienced in my life. You know, I didn't know what everything meant. I'm totally grateful. I'm grateful for what I've learned from watching them do their work. You know, crime victim services. There's so many things to be grateful for. You know, the officers, old and new. You know, some people, I'm just saying it's so many new people, but it's still some old people, and seeing their faces from the FBI, all these people that came together from, you know, the medical field, from the FBI, from the police department, and everybody had a role. And maybe some people could have died off. Maybe they just did something and I never got a chance to meet them, you know, but I'm grateful for every little thing that everybody has done. I'm just going to keep moving. And as long as I have life within me, I'm just going to keep going. And I'm glad that I did, because of me pushing, we all got here. So this to me is like, I see Christian as a community baby, you know, an international baby, because this case, I believe once people start really looking at it, it's going to make everybody check the education system, the justice system, the court system, the medical field, everybody that failed him. All of them need to be looked at right now. You know, what happened, what was good, what was bad, how did this happen? The real is that a lot of things went wrong and this did not have to happen, and Christians should still be alive.
Well, you know, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me. I know it's been a really long day, a long week, almost 20 years for you. And so I appreciate you, you know, stopping to really chat with me about everything that happened, because it's been a very interesting week. And I want to see you move forward with more people and helping more families, and just, you know, share all the wisdom and everything that you've learned over this course of time, because that's invaluable. That's not something everybody has, you know, so yeah. So you have that, you know, even through this tragedy, you do have I would say a gift of being able to help other people and really impact their lives, you know? And so that to me is a special thing. And I want you to keep going with it.
And I feel like if we all would just be more positive and more patient with each other, I think we can get a lot of things accomplished as a people.
When it comes to my final thoughts about this case, it leaves me with that big unanswered question. Where is Christian, and why won't Dawan just say where the body is? But Theda says it's his sick and twisted way of having some type of control over the situation. And while there is some degree of closure, there's still that lingering question. Theda also says she's planning to move forward and work on living a normal life, and she's looking forward to finishing her book projects on relationships and issues in the court system. I think while one of her biggest goals has been accomplished, she still has a lot to do, along with continuing her work to help families who are still looking for their missing loved ones. As for Dawan Ferguson, Theda says sentencing in Christian's case is expected sometime in the next 2 months. In the meantime, local media reports in St. Louis say that Dawan is also facing 2 counts of rape and other sex crimes against a child who was under 14 years old and became pregnant. Those charges stem from molestation that police say happened between 2008 and 2010 and then continued in 2013. Media reports also say he's accused of molesting a second child under 17 between 2000 and 2003. That trial date is set for August 1st. I'll keep an eye on the situation and let you know what happens next. If you have a case that you want me to check out, just visit me on the Intrigued Full Effect Facebook page or email me at intriguedfulleffect@hotmail.com. Until next time, be safe and stay true. The views, information, or opinions expressed during the Intrigued, Full Effect, Curious Cases, Disappearances, and Other Stuff podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the host. The primary purpose of this podcast is to educate and inform. The host of this podcast assumes no liability or responsibility for any activities in connection with opinions shared in the podcast. The podcast and blog associated with it shall not be used in any legal capacity or as a basis for expert testimony. Any copyright material in the podcast is approved by the owner or is part of the public domain. Music by Pond 5.